So in this video, you basically go have him G checking this white lady because she feels like she ain't wrong about being mad about the Little Mermaid being black. He basically, pointing out the fact that she is definitely racist. She is definitely a white supremacist that believes that, the culture got changed. But the breakdown he go give is go really put your mind to work and make you think like, damn. The real problem is they don't like the fact that we starting to become more diverse. And when you've been doing something for so long one way and you take that shit away from somebody, it feels wrong. You know what I'm saying?
You're a white supremacist piece of shit.
So your immediate argument is white supremacy. But you're not actually looking at that story.
Yes, could we get a manager on aisle 9? I've got a hit dog hollering.
I don't personally have a problem with the Black Little Mermaid.
She leads off with, I don't have a problem with the Black Little Mermaid. It's given very much, I'm not a racist, but. It's given very much, I don't mean this in a racist way, but. Continue, Karen.
But I do have a problem with not only erasing history, but erasing culture.
And there it is. First, let me tell you, those are immediate dog whistles. When you hear a white person say erasing history or erasing culture, you should immediately call bullshit. Yes, I'm calling bullshit. Because the number one erasers of culture and history in history are white people. And the only time white people bring up erasing history or culture is when somebody's trying to make something not white.
That story was written by Hans Christian Andersen and it was featured in Denmark.
I'll take shit I guarantee she didn't know last week for 1,000. This is what grasping for straws looks like. She didn't know that Little Mermaid was a Danish tale written by Hans Christian Andersen before Disney made Little Mermaid black. And now all of a sudden she's online giving her scholarly dissertation as to how it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. Another fucking dog whistle.
Yes, mermaids don't exist.
Pay attention. She just openly admitted mermaids don't even exist. But she's about to hit you with a but so she could double down on her bigotry.
But it was a story written by a culture that is predominantly white.
Got them. Let them talk long enough and they always expose themselves. First and foremost, let's discuss the internalized racism that she just demonstrated. She said that Denmark is a predominantly white country. And since Hans Christian Andersen was Danish, then the mermaid should be white because it's a predominantly white country. So what she's saying is underrepresented populations don't matter. What she's saying is the 2% of the population that's black in Denmark cannot be represented. White supremacy 101. Number 2, let's address the shit that you think you know. First and foremost, Disney's Little Mermaid is not a retelling of Hans Christian Andersen's original Little Mermaid. It is loosely based off of it. Loosely because they changed the story. And the name of the mermaid in Hans Christian Andersen's original was not Ariel. Ariel is a name Disney gave her. Ariel is a Hebrew name. I guarantee you never worried about preserving culture and demand that Disney change her name to something more Danish. Nope, you didn't care because it was a white mermaid. Speaking of Hebrew, kind of reminds me of this guy. You probably have a picture or a picture like this in your local church. Guaranteed. But Jesus was never white. Spoiler alert, there's no white people in the Bible. And I guarantee you weren't worried about preserving culture then. But continue with your bullshit.
My point is, why did Disney gloss over the other movies, such as Pocahontas and Princess and the Frog?
Oh, God.
Why weren't those made in live action? Those actually feature cultures and history that have to do with indigenous people and black people.
First and foremost, the Disney movie Pocahontas is not some love story of a princess. No, it's a disgusting rewriting of real history, which involved the real Pocahontas being kidnapped, R-worded, and forced into marriage. So suggesting that Disney should do a live-action remake of that movie shows how little you know. Next, you brought up The Princess and the Frog. You make the argument that Little Mermaid is a retelling of a Danish story, but you ignore that The Princess and the Frog is the retelling of a German story? You can't even keep your bullshit straight. And you clearly don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You've done zero research. You just heard me call you a white supremacist and grasp for every straw you could find. So 3 things in conclusion here. Number 1, you're definitely a white supremacist. Number 2, you're not actually worried about culture, you're just worried about rewriting things to fit your narrative. There's probably a better way to word that. Could you help me with it?
Seems to me the one holding the pen actually is the one in control of the story here. And they're not focusing on the real story at all. Sounds like they're just trying to change culture.
Yes, that does better describe what you're doing. Thank you. And number 3, you're dismissed.
Personally, I kind of could care less, honestly, because I'm grown as fuck, you feel me? And, you know, shit, I probably won't watch Little Mermaid anyways, but I do remember the mermaid always being white with red hair. But now that I'm grown and I got more sense, wouldn't you probably believe in a black mermaid before a white mermaid anyways, because of the fact that black people used to get thrown off of boats into oceans and shit as slaves, or not thrown off of boats, but they jumped off boats and, you know, drowned in order to not be slaves type shit. So if anything, it's probably more black mermaids than white ones, if it is any white mermaids. That shit just beyond me. I can't even see it possibly being a white mermaid. But then if you ever seen the movie or the show Siren, they got Russian